Well, after about an hour and a half of work today, the Senate is now officially in recess, but subject to be called back. This after Senator Harry Reid's proposed debt bill that he thought would be the best solution failed to get the votes it needed to get to an actual vote. That was expected. That's done now. The Senate remains in recess. But our next guest is a Democrat who says his party has actually put something on the table. They did so months ago. That bill, a proposal to raise the debt limit, failed after a House vote in May. So what does he think about what's going on now? California Congressman, Democrat John Garamendi joins us live. Congressman, thanks for coming in.
Always a pleasure to be with you, Shannon.
Okay, so the straight up or down so-called clean debt ceiling vote back in May failed 318 to 97.
Yep.
Did you have any hopes, though, that it would get any further than that?
No, we wanted to make a statement. As everybody's making their own statement, there's one statement after another here. We wanted to follow the long history of America. 74 times there was a clean debt move. The president wanted to do that. But we really have been faced with a manufactured crisis, one that didn't have to occur, but it was manufactured, put together by the Republicans to leverage into the public policy their notion of how America ought to be running. And so here we are. Here we are down to the last couple of days, and we're going to go forward. I think we'll solve this. We've got to be careful how we do it. We've got to be really careful that we don't harm the economy. It's very, very sensitive now. If you take a whole pile of money out of the economy right now, you're going to see layoffs, you're going to see unemployment, because those are government contracts across the board from education to aerospace and all the rest. So we have to be really careful and very wise. We really need to do two things, be very efficient and very effective in all that we do. And we're not there yet, either efficient or effective.
Most people on both sides of the aisle agree there's plenty of waste that could be cut in Washington.
Sure.
What you've seen of the so-called deal, the contours of what's coming together today, how does it look to you?
There's some very sensitive pieces of it. Medicare, Social Security, entitlements. People are talking about entitlements. What are you going to do with entitlements? Are you going to go after the benefits, or are you going to go after the inefficiencies that are in it? We know that in Medicare there's a lot of fraud, usually by providers, sometimes by the various people that are receiving the benefit, but almost always by providers. There are things you can do in Medicare to significantly reduce the cost. And remember that Medicare rides along on the wave of health care inflation. So you've got to deal with that wave. I know one of the things you don't like to talk about positively in this station is the Affordable Health Care Act, but there are very, very important things in that law that reduced the inflation in overall health care. For example, electronic medical records, hospital infection rates, wellness, all those kinds of programs will reduce the inflation rate, and that'll have a positive effect on Medicare. Social Security, why would you go after that foundation bedrock? There are things you can do in Social Security that don't deal with the benefits, that actually deal with income. Right now it's capped at $106,000 per person. You could increase that. Social Security will go on for decades if we do that.
Well, anytime that you talk about entitlement reform, it gets people's attention. It's a very delicate thing.
Yes.
Congressman, thank you for dropping in with us today.
It's a pleasure.